Okay, cool. So for everyone else who's watching this on the YouTube, which will be posted later, I'm Katherine. I'm 18. I've been with SOS for 4 years now, and I went on the Japan ambassador trip in 2018. So continuing this Japan-US relations has kind of been, I've really been passionate about it, and like I'm really excited to be hosting this opportunity. So Ooh, what's that? Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see the presentation that I have. Cool. Okay, can you guys see it? Sweet. Okay, so this event is officially the Japan Peace Bell ringing. And it's to commemorate the 75 years of peace between the United States and Japan, specifically starting from when we first dropped the atomic bombs on the Imperial Japan of World War II. So just a little bit of a timeline. So Japan actually was the last nation to surrender in World War II. Nazi Germany and fascist Italy had already surrendered before that. So really by this point in time in World War II, it was just the United States and Japan fighting in on the Pacific front. So at this point, the United States was also faced with a really difficult decision. They were considering doing a land invasion of Japan, which some experts actually argue that that would have had more casualties than the actual deaths that surmounted from the dropping of both atomic bombs. So in a way, it's the lesser of two evils, even though the atomic bombs were incredibly devastating. We have someone joining. So in Hiroshima, this was the first city to have an atomic bomb on top of it, dropped on it, and it was dropped on August 6th at 8:15 a.m. in Japan, and that's with Japan time zone. So here in San Antonio, that would be August 5th at 6:15 p.m., which is in about 10 minutes. The plane that dropped the bomb was the Enola Gay, and it's quite infamous for being the first plane to ever drop an atomic bomb. And the bomb that was dropped was Little Boy. The casualties for Hiroshima, there's no exact number because even with the immediate incineration of many people later died, even up to like years later. They died from the radiation poisoning. So there's no exact number, but the frame by December of 1945 is somewhere around 90,000 to 120,000 people, which is incredible. It's a lot of people who died. And then the second one was dropped on August 9th at 11:01 on Nagasaki. The bomb that was dropped was Fat Man, and it's estimated that 50,000 to 80,000 were killed by December. And then following that, both bombs, I'm sure any nation would formally surrender. So Japan formally surrendered on September 2nd of 1945. And an interesting fact about that is that the Emperor of Japan actually went on the radio and told all these citizens of Japan at the time that Japan was surrendered and there was no more war, which was crazy because most Japanese had never heard the emperor before, since he was mostly a figurehead, and the lead of the military was a totally different person. So for the emperor of this country to come on the radio and tell everyone we're surrenders, there's no more war, that's it was really quite a shock to many people. Next, it's gonna work. And here, this is a picture, it's a famous picture of Hiroshima after the bomb. If you see in the back, that is the A-bomb dome. It's quite a famous building because it was very close to the ground zero of the explosion. And it's also famous because it's one of the few buildings that actually stood after. So if you can kind of see in the background, there's not really any other buildings, any other structures, because they were all incinerated or they burned since the bomb actually caused a lot of fires too that led on for several days after the bomb. And if you can see all of this debris. And the A-bomb dome is actually something you can go see today as well. If you can see, these are, this is the Peace Park, some monuments in the Peace Park that you can visit today in Hiroshima. And here is the A-bomb dome. So it's still standing, which is really incredible. And then if you see this, this is the cenotaph, which has the names of, I believe, 290,000 people who died from the bombs. They're engraved on this, and then if you can see the A-bomb, it's lined up to where it's there. And then here's the peace bell again. That's the center of what we're basing this event about. So this peace bell, it shows, like, it embraces the peace, the idea of peace between Japan and the rest of the world, especially the United States. So ringing this bell is actually really, it's really like sentimental and important, and it shows a lot. And another thing I want to show is this. This is the Children's Peace Memorial. So it memorializes all the children who have died. And if you see, each of these are little boxes, and they are little window boxes, and each of them are actually like almost filled to the brim with the paper cranes. So there's the paper cranes have also been come to represent peace as well. And that was through the story of Sadako, who was a girl who survived the atomic bombings, but later died because of the radiation poisoning. But while she was in the hospital, she made 1,000 paper cranes. And that's where that kind of comes from. So, okay, I'm gonna go out of this for a minute and go to one of these others. I believe it's this one. Yeah, so this is a map. This is just Google Maps of Hiroshima. And I wanted to show the kind of the thought process of the pilots on the Enola Gay. So as you can see, there are several rivers that go through Hiroshima, and there's also bridges. But one famous one is this T-bridge right here. And it's quite an easy landmark because it's in the shape of a T. So this is the landmark the pilots of the Enola Gay were actually aiming for to drop the, I believe, Fat Man on. So, no, it was Little Boy. They dropped the Little Boy. And they were pretty accurate. The actual ground zero was around over here. And if you can see, the A-bomb dome is kind of in the middle of the two. So the A-bomb dome was almost directly underneath the point of explosion. Okay. And then I just wanted to show this page as well. This is the actual Visit Hiroshima page. This is where you can find the address for the Children's Peace Memorial if you'd like to send the paper cranes later. So, but yeah, here's the cenotaph, and there's a bunch of pictures on here. It's a really cool website, actually, just to learn about if you want to go. Okay, and now we have a little bit of time, so I'm going to show this video. This is actually from our trip to Japan. I'm going to show the part that we're in Hiroshima. Just because it's really personal for me since I've actually been here before and I've experienced all of this. So, can you hear the audio? Yes? Okay, cool. So that's the cenotaph, and then the A-bomb balloon is right here. And this is the peace bell. Here's the Children's Memorial, so you can see we got to leave our own paper cranes. You can see how many are in each of these. This is actually at a shrine that is near Hiroshima that you access by boat. This is on the Shinkansen, which is the Japanese bullet train. Cool. So I really liked Hiroshima personally. It's a really beautiful city, and as you can see, it's on a bay actually. It's a harbor town really. So there's a lot of water, and then there's also a lot of mountains around it, which is just really like naturally beautiful. So I'm actually going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit and show some pictures from when I actually went there. So I actually took these. We're just going to do that. So this one is facing the harbor. And so you can see there's a lot of ships, which is also kind of interesting because, as you know, Japanese people eat a lot of fish. This is another one of the harbor, and you can see the mountains in the background. This is of one of the rivers in Hiroshima, which was really cool since there's so many of them. And then you can see like the buildings and the mountains in the background. It's beautiful. And then I really like this one because you can see how Hiroshima has really like rebuilt, and it's quite a beautiful city now, and it has so many buildings, and it's so green, and it's amazing. So yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the kind of bell ringing part of this. So I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute. So it's 6:14 right now. So if you'd like to unmute yourself if you have a bell, you can do that in a little bit. And once it hits 6:15, I can signal and then we can ring the bell. And it's really, this is a symbol of peace. It's been 75 years since Japan and the United States have quit. You know, there's no more war. We haven't had any war between us. And since then, Japan has really become a technological powerhouse. And the US actually helped a lot with getting Japan back on track in the 50s and actually after the late 40s and the early 50s, we really helped them get back on track. So it's 6:15 right now. So if you'd like, you can go ahead and ring our bells. So 75 years ago today, that was the moment when the little boy dropped on Hiroshima. 75 years ago, that exact moment. So that's really incredible. And it really is enlightening to see that 75 years later, we're having memorials. There's so many memorials. We're having this event. There's so many events across the United States that are happening for this. So yeah, it's really great for our future because we've had peace for 75 years, so we can continue that. So, hey, now I'm going to shift gears a little bit to a different form of commemorating. So we're going to make paper cranes. So we're actually not the first who have made paper cranes before, but I don't know which year it was, but President Obama was actually, I believe, the first president to visit Hiroshima, and he made paper cranes. And so these are his, actually. They're the ones that he made, as you can see in this picture, and there's the ones right there. So you can go and see these in Hiroshima. They're in the Peace Memorial. So paper cranes, they're actually, they're specifically called orizuru, which means quite literally the folded crane. And it's quite an art in Japan. So we're going to do that now. Yay. And I will stop sharing. And if you like, you can use your video and I will go through the steps on how to make one of these cranes. So first step is to get a piece of paper that is a perfect square. I like to use Post-it notes. Post-it notes are pretty good, but if you don't have a perfect square, you can easily make one by just taking a piece of paper and you fold it down, like you dog ear the corner, and you match it up perfectly on the side. And then you just cut the bottom off, and then that will be the top. You can unfold it and it'll be a perfect square. So that's actually what I did for these. So yeah, I'll give you a minute to do that. And if you'd like, you can unmute yourself for this because there might be questions.
Well, it's definitely lends itself to conversation while I'm.
That's true.
Making the.
So I actually, the first time I made paper cranes was apparently in Girl Scouts, which I didn't realize. But my mom sent me a picture of me making them. It was for our culture day, and I think I was a brownie. So I think I was in like second grade, but we made paper cranes. And then the second time was with the Japanese students in Kumamoto when we went on the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I learned from the best.
I feel like that trip really impacted you.
Yeah, it did. I still have the one that I made. It's this one.
Wow.
I made this one. This is actually from the map of the Peace Park in Hiroshima. I made it on the train to the airport.
Oh wow.
So I still have it.
That's awesome.
Do we have the paper? Still work in progress?
Me? I'm ready.
Okay, cool. So first step, and honestly, if you cut the paper out of a rectangle to a perfect square, you already did the step kind of, but you're gonna fold it into a triangle, fold across, and then you're just gonna do that again. So you're just making like a little smaller triangle.
You know, when we were in Japan, we were doing this on the bus, and I struggled mightily.
I know, mine. Honestly, this one is a little bit wonky. I've gotten better, but okay.
I'm getting better.
And then You just unfold that, so you just have the creases. So there's like a big X in the middle. And then the next, we're also making more creases. So you're going to take it and fold it directly across, like a hamburger. And once you do that, you're just going to do that again. You're going to fold it down to make a square. This paper isn't exactly cut, so it's going to be a little bit wonky too.
All right.
It is square. Yeah. And then you just unfold it again. So you should have an X and then a little plus sign. Yeah. And then this part, this is kind of like the more tricky part. You're going to take like two sides. I usually start with the side that's like folded in a little bit, and you're going to fold it in like on the crease. So like that. And you're going to hold that. And then you're going to do the same thing to the other side. You're going to put that piece in. So like that, and then you fold it in and fold it. So it should end like this. It's probably good that.
Is this right?
Yes. You just, because yours is like this, I think, right now. So
Yeah.
just push it in. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's probably good. Zoom is probably going to kick me off before we have a chance to take another one, but you know, it's okay. It's recorded. Okay, so next step is something you're going to do it on both sides. So you take one of these sides and you separate it. So there's the front flap and the back flap. And you're just going to fold it in like this. So the end meets the crease in the middle, and then there's a flat line at the top. You're going to fold that down and try to make it in line with the crease as much as you can. And then you do that to the other side, the other flap, and you just meet it in the middle. So it kind of looks like a kite.
Got it. I think I went to the wrong side, but I fixed it.
Yeah. And then you just, when you got one kite on one side, you flip it to the other square.
Yeah.
Yes. You flip it to the other side and just do the same thing.
Got it.
And I guess I should mention, make sure that the top has all the closed sides, and the bottom is the one where it has like kind of like the loose ends. So there's like 4, whereas this side is just like that.
I think I did it wrong. That's my bottom. That's the open side.
I think it's okay.
Okay, cool.
I think we'll see.
I'm gonna let you just keep going because I may slow you down. So
okay. Yeah. So then you're just gonna unfold those again. So you just have the creases, and then on the creases, this is another kind of tricky part. You take the front paper like that, and you fold it up. So you fold it up to where there's a crease right here. And I kind of like flatten that out, and then you go up and you fold on the other creases. So it makes a diamond. And then I'll do it on the other side because you have to do this on both sides. So we'll do it again. So you take the bottom up. You just kind of pull it up to where it stops on the crease, and you fold that down and you like pinch it. And then you like flip them in and push these in. Mine's a little bit wonky, so it's not really going. In a perfect world, these would be lined up. In a perfect world, these two would be lined up with each other, but mine's a little bit off, so it's okay. Then it happens like that. And Mr. Spaney, I think yours is okay for now. It's just at the end there'll be something that you won't be able to do, but it's okay because I think it'll end up okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so you have.
I struggle with these.
There's one. Okay, so once you did that, there's one side that has like legs that move back and forth. Oop. Whoa! We removed the 40-minute time limit. Sweet.
Nice.
Thanks, Zoom. Yeah, so anyway, you have legs on the bottom, and then this side is just a solid triangle when you're looking at it flat. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna fold the legs, you're gonna fold the first layer down so it kind of looks like, oh my gosh, it's hard doing it in a mirror. So it looks like that. And you're gonna do that to this side, and then you're gonna do it on the other side as well. So you're just kind of making another kite, but it's really long. Like that, and then you flip it over and do the same thing. So it should look like that. And then the legs are just skinnier. Wait a minute for that. So it looks like that. Okay.
Yeah, you like I said, you keep going.
Okay. And then this part, you have like the kind of like things. So you unfold it to where it's like that. So now it has ears on the top.
Uh-huh.
And what you do with these, oh, hang on, is you fold, if I can get them up, you fold it up. Fold it up like that, and you fold it up on both sides. So it's like, it's kind of like the top of a pointy building.
Yeah.
And
I
then
thought it looked like a tulip.
Or that, yeah, the top of a flower. And then you unfold that, so it's kind of like that. And then you just pull them out a little bit. You pull them out a little bit and re-flatten them.
Got it.
And really, you can skip the folding out step a little bit. It's easier to show that way. So then you're basically, that's their swan, or your crane. I keep calling them swans, but they're cranes. But now you need to make a head, because it has no head right now. So what I do is like, if one side's messed up, I leave that as the tail, since it'll be harder to fold the head. So I'm gonna fold this side. So you're basically gonna do the same thing, kind of what you just did, but like pinch a little bit of the head. And so it should invert itself kind of.
Okay.
So then you have like a little dent on the top, and then you just pinch that. So then you have a head.
Okay.
And then this is the easy part. You just fold your wings down. You can fold them as high as low or as low as you want, really. But if you'd like them to kind of stand up somewhat straight, I would make them even with each other.
Okay.
So then when you unfold it, you have a crane.
Yay! Yours looks awesome. That's mine.
Okay, and then here's a little secret about this version of a crane, because I think there's different ways you can make them. But this is what the Japanese students showed me. And if you look at the bottom, there's a little hole. And if you blow into that, the body will puff up. So
that's cool.
better. So yeah, this one's a little bit stiff, so I don't think it's gonna work with this one. But when you have like origami paper, which is a little bit thinner, it'll work.
That's awesome. Yay!
Paper crane.
Great job.
Yay. Thank you to the Japanese students who taught me. The senseis.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen one more time for a little conclusion that I have. And yeah, that will be the last thing. So I just wanted to talk a little about what Japan has kind of come to since 1945. So it's now a world powerhouse for technology. I'm sure everyone knows what anime is, and if you've seen pictures of Tokyo, it's very neon and bright, especially like the districts that are well known, like Akihabara and Shibuya and Harajuku. They have their own sense of styles, which is also they're also a lot of technology-oriented places like that. Kumamoto and San Antonio became sister cities in 1987, and we've had several delegations between Kumamoto and San Antonio since then, including the one that I went on, which I believe was the first. Was it the first student exchange? I'm not
It was
sure.
the first student ambassador trip that we've done. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was really cool to be a part of for me specifically. And then another program that I know of is called Mayors for Peace. It was created in the 80s, I believe, as well. And it's basically just a peace initiative between Japanese and American mayors to promote peace as well. And then there are several other programs promoting Japanese style and Japanese culture, like JASA here in San Antonio, the Japan American Society of San Antonio. So it's really nice because we have continued our friendship for this long. And then I also have these pictures again, just to give a little bit more of a look, because last time I kind of went through so we could get in the bell ringing at 6:15. But yeah, I guess personally, if you ever have the chance to travel to Japan, I would totally, I would say go for it, because Japan is an amazing country since it's so technologically advanced, but also it keeps the same morals and values that it's had for hundreds of years. Like you can go in Tokyo and like right across the street from some crazy new like shop or something that has all these lighted signs, there could be a shrine right across the street, which was really an interesting experience for me. And I would suggest going to Hiroshima because the Peace Park really is significant, and it's really enlightening to see like everything and how Hiroshima and Japan in general has built up since then. So, yay, that's the end. So, thank you for
You did a
coming.
great job, Katherine.
Great job.